Coming up on Currently, Beth Milligan is here with the latest Grand Traverse County Commission news, including updates on building projects and the Crisis Center. Plus, another roundup of retail and restaurant happenings. That's all ahead on Currently. Welcome to Currently, where we discuss some of the top local stories directly from the journalists who are covering them, and I'm your host, Christal Frost. This podcast was recorded on Thursday, May 14th. The Tigers are slipping, my friends. 19-24, tied for last in the AL Central. They're all just sending those good healing vibes to Scooby and the nanoneedle surgery that apparently is like a thing now. I don't know. Support for Currently comes from West Shore Bank. When you choose West Shore Bank, you're not just choosing a bank. You're choosing a partner committed to the well-being of our community, and you can visit them today on 8th Street or at westshorebank.com. Support also comes from Old Town Playhouse, where community comes together in downtown Traverse City. Beth!
Hello.
You head writer for the Traverse City Ticker. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Sun's out today.
Sun's out.
Like summer's coming.
That's right. Usually I put my tank top on and I say sun's out, guns out. But no, I've never done that in my life.
Maybe this is the weekend to try.
This is the weekend to try. Exactly. I mean, it has been kind of cold and chilly and all sorts of things. And before we start the show, I just want to say thank you to Beth and friends and everybody else who came to the Distinguished Service Award and the Community and Business Awards with Traverse Connect on Wednesday this week. Beth, I won.
You did win, and it was so exciting. It was so exciting to be there for it. I was so happy for you. It was well-deserved.
Not prepared to win. Had been practicing that Oscar loser face for a while. I was just like, oh, yes, yes, of course. Of course, it's Meryl Streep. But yeah, thank you to Traverse Connect and for everybody who was there. I, again, will just sing the praises of Leadership Grand Traverse, so get involved.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of Grand Traverse, let's go to Grand Traverse County and get some updates. What's happening?
Yeah, so we had a couple things. There's a lot going on always. With Grand Traverse County, part of what we talked about in the story this week is just several building projects that are moving forward in the county. So one of which is there was the official groundbreaking on Project Alpha on Tuesday this week.
My favorite, with those hard hats, shovels.
We've talked before about those hard hat photos. Always a good time. So this is the nearly $28 million expansion of the Lafreniere Road campus. There'll be 2 new buildings being built behind the Health Services building out on Lafreniere. One of which is being called an Emergency Operations and a Communication Center, so kind of a new 911/emergency center.
Cool.
And then a Central Operations building is the second building, and that one will have kind of storage and operational space for multiple county departments, including facilities management and the Commission on Aging, their outdoor services.
Oh, okay.
So there will also be an on-site well going into that property, so there'll be some backup potable water if the public water system ever goes down out there. So that project broke ground. Those buildings are supposed to be done by spring to early summer next year.
That's
so
pretty
we'll see
fast.
Construction happening there over the next year.
Nice.
The other one, and it's kind of tied into Project Alpha, or a little bit of like a domino effect with buildings. So when facilities, which is over at the Civic Center right now, and that kind of one of the buildings there at the property, on the north side of the Civic Center, when they leave and go to this new building that's being built on the Lafreniere, that will open that building up at the Civic Center. And one of the things that county commissioners talked about at their Wednesday meeting was a lease with Norte for that building.
Oh, great.
So there's going to be a lot of changes happening at the Civic Center this summer, one of which is if folks go to the park now, they'll see the south building there has been demolished. It's going to be torn down. It's going to be rebuilt. And there'll eventually be new restrooms there, new storage. There'll be a nicer, newer building there. But the Norte part of the project is Norte will move into that facilities building at some point, likely next year, once they move over to the new building at Lafreniere. And then they will be using that building as a bicycle education center.
Cool.
They also are planning to build a new pump track in the park. That is actually going to start this summer.
Yes, I'm so excited about that thing.
We've talked about pump tracks before. I know that's your favorite. And then eventually also the parking lot where the facilities building is will be a bicycle safety garden. That's kind of a training area, especially for younger kids, to teach them how to navigate on their bikes.
Younger kids, I need that.
So I've seen some people on the road. I think some drivers and cyclists could all use a little update on education sometime. times. So those are just all kind of projects in the work. And then the other one that, we've talked a lot about on the show, and I know, I have parts of my job that's touch it. You have parts of your job of a potential new jail at some point in Grand Traverse County. So the county actually held 2 informational sessions this week. By the time this show airs, they will both have taken place. One was on Tuesday out in Kingsley. The other one is tonight, Thursday, when we're recording. But when this is out tomorrow, that'll have happened last night on Garfield Township Hall in Traverse City. They're getting public feedback on what they should be thinking about and planning about for a new jail and justice complex. I will say, though, if you couldn't make those meetings, especially if you're just hearing the podcast and you missed the sessions this week, they do have an online survey. Yeah. If you go to traverseticker.com and look at the county story, I have the link to the survey in the story. That's going to be up through May 29th, so you can still share your thoughts. There's a lot to be determined about this project. Where it's going to go, what the design is going to be like, what the programming is going to be like, which I'm sure, organizations like yours, will be able to give input on. But that is just something that right now they're in the process of getting that community feedback. Yeah, they actually had another session last week too at Blair Township. Well, I guess it was the Blair Firehouse. And I sit on that committee for the JFAC, and also I'm one of those focus groups too, because in the work I do in my day job, working with people who are coming home after being in prison, I really think that getting all this input is really good, and especially where it should be. Yes. Because everybody's going to have an opinion on that. Yeah. And, obviously a leading contender is for the governmental center complex over on Washington and Boardman. This is not envisioned just to be a new jail, but potentially a justice facility, which would also house potentially like the prosecutor's office, some of the courts, sheriff's office, TCPD, things like that. So a lot of that is still in flux, but this is a chance for people to start sharing their opinions. So give your opinion. I mean, instead of just commenting on a Facebook post, maybe if you go just take those comments and put them in the survey, they'll actually get looked at by someone other than me. Exactly. Go to traverseticker.com, look for that story that Beth wrote, and click right there where it says survey. The survey. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to read it. Yeah. But that's good to do anyway. It's in there. It's good to do. It's good to do. Anything else going on in the county? Yeah, the last one I'll mention is, the county commission also this week received updates from the Mental Health Crisis Center and also from the county treasurer's office. So the crisis center, has now been open for over a year. Yeah. That project, which is over on the Munson campus, was significantly funded by the county through ARPA funding. So they've been giving periodic updates to county commissioners. And I just thought it was, it's an interesting check-in that service, which is now available 24/7. It also has a psychiatric urgent care over there. They just gave an update that they have provided services to over 1,000 individuals so far. A majority of those are adults, but they're also children. Yeah. 28 counties, I thought, represented. Now, Grand Traverse is the largest, about 550, so over half, but still, a wide range of people coming through our area, which just kind of shows, especially in the summer tourism season, that a lot of people need access to, mental health crisis centers, even when they're traveling or something comes up. This is there for them in the community. It's not just for our local residents. And they are now working on the next phase of expansion. So that will look like adding 9 adult residential units and also pediatric units. So they're still in the process of lining up some of the funding and licensing for that. But that was nice to hear an update on where they're at. It's headed in that direction. It's so needed. Despite, even, the 9 adult crisis residential units will be so needed. But when I think about pediatric beds, if your child is having a psychiatric issue or a mental health issue and needs to be hospitalized, the closest is Grand Rapids at this point. And, you think about that with a family that's trying to work or they have other kids it's just that can be so disruptive because you need to be there for your child, but that's 2.5 hours away if you're in Traverse City, Yeah. So it'll be a huge benefit to have that come online. Yeah. So it's still in the works. And then the treasurer update was just, the county commissioners have been meeting for several months with Jamie Callahan, the county treasurer. There have been some challenges with delayed reporting, reconciliations, late audit filings with the state. He's presenting the case that the department is understaffed. Yeah. I think there are some commissioners who feel really frustrated that there didn't used to be these challenges with the department.
Sure.
There has been a changeover in the treasurer since the last election. So they had some discussions this week about that. That's going to be an ongoing one, but just to kind of flag that they're trying to work through some of those things and maybe make sure there's enough staffing there as well.
Yeah, and one thing that Callahan is proposing is that there would be a one staff member, a full-time staff member, that would be focused on that account reconciliation portion, which is something that the commissioners are, kind of frustrated about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're going to come back for my favorite, the retail and restaurant roundup. But first, a word for our lead supporter, West Shore Bank. And if you're looking for a checking account that does more for you, I've got some good news. At West Shore Bank, they've introduced new checking options designed to fit the way that you live and the way you spend. With Shoreline High Yield Checking, your money has the opportunity to work harder, earning more value just by using your account the way that you already do, right? And with Shoreline Cashback Checking, you can get rewarded for everyday debit card purchases because spending money should come with benefits. That's what I always say. Both accounts offer convenient digital banking, easy account access, and features that help you stay in control of your finances without unnecessary hassle. Plus, you're going to enjoy the personalized service of a community bank that's been here for generations, supporting the people and businesses who are also here. If you're ready to choose the checking account that fits your lifestyle, visit westshorebank.com or stop by any West Shore Bank branch to learn more and to get started today. Terms, conditions, and qualifications apply. Third-party data rates may apply as well. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, let's get into that roundup.
Yes, lots of retail and restaurant news. So a big chunk of this story, which came out Thursday, was about downtown. A lot happening downtown. Kind of some musical chairs, if you will. So the first one was My Secret Stash, which is over on Cass Street. It's been there for 12 years. Really popular.
I really love that little place. It's so cute.
Karen Roof, the owner, she's got lots of great stuff there. Some, kind of like Traverse City themed things, but also a lot of Pride items. Like she's just a great store. She's been there for 12 years. But in the kind of the trend of what we've been seeing a lot downtown, the building was recently sold. There's a new owner of that building, and she is now on the hunt for a new space. So she has found one, thankfully. She has the lease on the space over on Union Street, where Intime is located.
Okay.
So before, some folks might remember, there was a store on Union called I'm Planty AF.
Yes.
That Karen owned. She eventually moved that store over into My Secret Stash and consolidated them on Cass. And then when that Union space was available, she had rented it to Intime.
Right. Yeah.
She's going to be moving My Secret Stash over to Union Street to the Intime space.
Okay.
Starting in June, it's going to be kind of a rolling transition. So folks will eventually probably mid-June see both the Cass and the Union Street store have My Secret Stash things. Intime, in the meantime, is going to be moving over into Warehouse Market.
On Hall Street.
On Hall Street. Into the Evil Queen space, which is the candle store that's in the market there. So Carol and I talked to her, who owns Intime. That's the intimate wear boutique store. Their last day on Union will be May 30th. She'll close for a couple days and then reopen in Warehouse Market.
Okay.
And then Evil Queen.
Yes, we got to find a place for that.
We're popping people around. Evil Queen is popping over, actually near the studios here onto East Front Street, in the store that used to be Queen Bee Limited.
Yes.
So just a few doors down. So they're going to be having a grand reopening party on Front Street in their new space on May 29th. The owner is really excited about that. Said it'll be better, exposure and foot traffic. So thankfully, none of these businesses are closing. They're just moving around.
Yeah, just shuffling.
We also mentioned, also in Warehouse Market, Artemis Books and Goods, which is a bookstore that had a kind of soft launch earlier this year. They just had a small inventory and limited hours in February, but they've been gradually building out, adding shelves, adding their inventory. So they are going to be having a grand opening on May 30th.
Okay.
In the market. So lots of good things happening in the market.
Yeah.
There's Chez Ami, the new restaurant. Lots going on over there. Across the street from Warehouse Market, Hotel Indigo, people who are ready for summer.
Yeah.
And this weekend we might have some summer weather. The H&L Social Rooftop Bar at Hotel Indigo will open this Friday at 3 o'clock.
Oh my gosh, it's happening.
So actually today when the show comes out, if you feel like going getting some rays this afternoon, you could pop up to the rooftop. It'll be open. And then Delamar is also going to be opening its waterfront patio bar on May 22nd.
Iconic.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you're looking to get outside, those are some ways to get outside.
Yes. I love both of those spaces, but whenever I go up to the rooftop bar at Indigo, I always have this feeling that I might just like blow off the roof. And I know it's very safe, but do you ever get that feeling sometimes when you're high up and you're like, what if the wind just gets me? Yeah. And everyone's like, girl, you're not that skinny.
Girl. Also, there's like walls. It's okay.
Also walls. Thank you for saying that, Beth.
That's my first thought, not the other one. So some more updates for foodie fans. Umbo, which we've talked about on the show for the last year. Cameron and Sarah, they, for the Detroit restaurant veterans moved up here. They've been working for the last year to get this store ready or this restaurant ready on East Front Street. They are going to be opening this weekend.
Ooh.
So they have made extensive renovations to that space. They've held local pop-ups, so people have kind of had a chance to try their food. They are still waiting on their liquor license from the state. So they felt really strongly that they have created a beverage program that is meant to go with their dinner service.
Sure.
So they're going to wait to launch dinner until they have their liquor license.
Okay.
But they are going to open starting this weekend for lunch. So they are open Saturday and Sunday this weekend, and then starting next weekend, they will be open Friday through Monday, 11 to 3 every weekend. They will have things like oysters, tin fish, lobster rolls. They're going to do a lunch prefix. They're going to do some daily specials. They did say they're going to have a really fun non-alcoholic beverage program.
That's good.
Some special NA drinks. And they'll do some occasional to-go orders. They'll have indoor seating. They're going to go to patio service by July 1. So they are taking phone reservations right now.
Yes.
I have the number in the story, so you can go find that. They're not doing anything online, just phone, but they are also holding 50% of their seats back every day for walk-in business. So you can also just walk in, just similar to Farm Club.
Yeah.
If you walk in person and put your name on a wait list, they'll then text you so you can walk around downtown.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to make a reservation. You can just go check it out.
That's nice to know. Also, you had me at Lobster Roll. That's my favorite.
And I've had a chance to see them at some of their pop-ups, and their food has been incredible.
Really?
So I'm really excited for this
Very,
one.
very excited.
Yeah.
Anything else going on in that retail restaurant roundup?
Yeah, I'll just mention a few as we're wrapping up the show here. So there's a new retail boutique, Obscura Jewelry and Curiosities, also opening on East Front Street next to Peace, Love, and Little Donuts on May 30th. Those are the folks, Ansel and Caitlin Bowden, who own Sanctuary Goods in the Commons. So that'll be a new kind of cool store with gifts and jewelry downtown. We also mentioned the Hammered Heifer, which was a restaurant from Mogan McAllister. That's Brian McAllister's son out at Hofbrau.
Yes.
He's worked at Hofbrau for a long time. He was originally going to open this restaurant last summer. They took some more time to get it ready. It's opening today, Friday, out on Honor Highway where Rich's Roadside Cafe used to be.
Yeah.
So smash burgers. They have a lawn. Again, nice weather this weekend. Big patio area. You can go check that out. They are waiting for their liquor license, but hope to have that soon. But they do have food.
Great name, by the way.
Hammered Heifer.
Yeah, I love it.
And then we also just mentioned May 21st, Gardner White, which is the new furniture store.
Right.
Big Michigan furniture store is going to go where Value City Furniture used to be over near Logan's Landing. They're opening on May 21st. We mentioned the Cherry Country Cafe in Cherry Capital Airport has sort of unveiled a newly renovated space. So that cafe has gotten a nice upgrade over there.
Exciting.
And then the last one we mentioned is the food truck, which kind of has built a local following because it has 100% gluten-free food truck, which for a lot of people is a nice thing. They're normally at Interlaken. We know the chaos of the Interlaken construction right now.
So sad.
So they're actually, for this season, they're out at the Mesick Roundabout on M37 out in Mesick. So folks who are looking for a food option out that way, they're Thursday through Monday. You can find them out there.
Are they right at like the little market and gas station there?
Yeah,
like
the
right out
address
there?
is like they said they're right at the roundabout. So I haven't actually been out there yet. The address is 4554 M37.
Yeah.
So if you're near the roundabout, you'll see them.
You will see it. Very exciting. Love that. It is one thing to note about Gardner White. how many places, furniture stores have been in that space? Like it was Art Van,
yes.
and then it was like another one, and then it was Value City, and then I don't know. So I'm really hoping for Gardner White. They've been expanding pretty rapidly.
They have a big following in Michigan, yeah.
Company. I'm really hoping that they find some love here in Traverse City.
For sure.
And for that space.
Yes.
It's a cool space. You know, what are you going to do? All right, Beth, let's get into what you're doing this week. What's going on?
Yeah, so I was going to plug two things. One is, so I work with the Bay Theater.
Yes.
If anyone's interested in volunteering or looking for a way to volunteer in the community or likes volunteering at movie theaters, we are having a volunteer party on Monday at Aurora Cellars from 5 to 6:30, and you don't have to be a current volunteer if you want to come learn about volunteering. You can come have a glass of wine with us and learn about opportunities. And then afterwards, we are going to be doing a free screening at the Bay Theater of this new John Prine film, which celebrates him, an incredible musician. So that's free to volunteers.
That's exciting.
So I want to plug that. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention was for anyone who was a Central Grade School alum or just loved the school in Central neighborhood, we know that is going to be reconstructed soon. And so they are going to be doing a walkthrough on Wednesday. So people can come and check it out, take pictures of the inside before it all changes. I'm really excited.
It's like a literal memory lane, right?
It is. So it's 5 to 7 o'clock. TCAPS will allow people to come in. They're going to have architects there who will talk about the new plans for the space. You can take pictures. Emily and I, who both went to Central Grade, are going to go.
Your sister
are going to go check it out on Wednesday.
That's really great. You know, my father-in-law went to school there when it was a high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So maybe we need to take him.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, well, this is not the high school I remember, because it has now since been an elementary school. Yeah, exactly.
What about you? What do you have going on?
I have a lot of stuff going on. The first thing is that I'm getting outside, and I have had these plans for flower gardens for all of winter. Very excited. I'm building a little cut flower garden in honor of my stepdad who passed away. So I'm going to try my hand at hollyhocks because he loved them. And gladiolas. And
once the hollyhocks, I'll tell you as someone who has them, once they get going, they will self-sow and then you'll have them, and it's great.
I'm just worried about my soil with them, but you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it, and I think Jim would love that.
That's so beautiful.
Peonies, so I'm going to get that ready. I can't plant yet, but I'm going to get it ready this week. And plus, I just want to give a couple of plugs here. First of all, my brunkle, Corey. I call him my brunkle because he's more like a brother to me. He's just 2 years older than I am, and he, at 49 years old, is graduating from Police Academy.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. So he's
awesome.
Graduating at 10 a.m. on Saturday. So I'm going to go to that ceremony. I'm just so proud of him because he really, truly has changed his career paths many times. And he does things that you're like, you're going to do that now, buddy? And he did. He decided he wanted to be a police officer at 49 years old, and he did it. So I'm really excited for him. It is amazing. Plus, we have a Road to Restoration event with OS Reentry, which is the program that I manage. It's happening at Northwest Michigan Works, and that's on South Garfield Avenue, by the way, guys. May 20th. If you have lost your license and you want to figure out how to get it back, we're going to have the Secretary of State right there. Also, lawyers will be present, just kind of telling you what you need to do. And if you are eligible to get it back, we're going to do it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Isn't that great? 10 a.m. until 3 p.m., May 20th. So, so we do recommend that you go to the SOS website and sign up ahead of time, because we can only do this for like 120 people. We can pay for your driving record. But that's a lot of people.
That's a great service.
I'm very excited about it and proud of my team for organizing that, because they're pretty great. And that's it.
Amazing.
I know. Look at us doing things, loving life. It's sunshiny, and let's hope that Scooble gets back.
Yeah.
Because we were rough.
And we got a real, like, Pistons got to make some, we got to
come back. Pistons got to come back. Tigers got to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to come back. All right. Thanks to Beth Milligan for another great episode of Currently. I hope you come back next week, and be sure to subscribe to the show on all the platforms at crystalfrost.com. You can follow us on social media. Subscribe to Currently with Crystal Frost wherever you get your podcasts. We have a companion podcast as well. It's called The Conversation, and I would invite you to listen to those as well. You can watch the full show on YouTube and on Facebook. It is a local podcast. Compass Local podcast, I should say, produced by Pancake Boy Productions. Big thanks to Old Town Playhouse. You can check out their upcoming 2026-27 season at oldtownplayhouse.com. And thanks to our lead supporter, West Shore Bank. Start saving today at westshorebank.com. We'll see you next week.